So the real T in healing is being patient with yourself, because you're not always going to be at 100%. You're not always going to be on the straight and narrow, especially if you build thought patterns and habits over a long period of time. They're not going to change overnight. So being patient with yourself is what you need to give yourself: grace and forgiveness. My substance abuse issues happened over a course of years. My substance abuse problems started when I was 11 years old. The one who gave me my first cigarette or clove to smoke was the husband of my mother. Hanging around the wrong people introduced me to hard liquor and that wacky tobacco at that age. And there have been many times that I have wanted to change and have stopped. And there were many times that I have fallen off the wagon hard. And I have beat myself up about it over and over because I knew better. Making silly decisions, spending my money unwisely, getting in the car, behind the wheel, knowing there was a possibility that I could hurt myself and or others. Not caring because I wasn't thinking with clarity. How could you be on substances? Having conversations that were inappropriate, calling people I said I'd never talk to again, hanging out with people I knew I should have left alone, circling the block, doing so well, and then boom. And believe it or not, you can fall off the wagon being happy. You don't have to be depressed. That chemical change in your brain of dopamine is a controlling force within one's body. And if you use substances enough, you tend to have a chemical imbalance in your brain. Even though you can remain sober, it takes a while for the body to purge itself and begin to heal. So patience and grace is what you need to give yourself. Don't let up on what the assignment is, but if you have to retake the test again, retake the test again until you get it right. A passing grade. The only person that you owe an explanation to is yourself. Do you know how much I have overcome? Do you know how much I've been through? Do you know how that made me feel? Do you know how it made me think? Do you know what it took to get out of bed every single day and try to make something of myself? So please judge me not, because I deserve grace, and I deserve patience, and I deserve mercy, and I deserve forgiveness, because I'm human, and you deserve it too. So when you're going through your trials and tribulations, stop looking at yourself as a failure. You're not a failure. You may have done things that you could have done differently or not at all. But give yourself the grace and look at all that you have overcome, that you have accomplished after everything you've been through. Man, there's some real G's out here in these streets, and I'm one of them. I done worked at some of the biggest and top companies that there were in the retail game, being the head you know what in charge. Now I work at a prestigious hospital, even though they trying to work me to death, which unfortunately, as nice as it is and as big as that accomplishment is, at my tender age, I don't need that stress. I don't care who it is and how much money they pay. 14 and 15-hour shifts are not made for me and my legs and my back anymore. And as grateful as I am to have received that position, if it takes away from my health, if it causes me to be a sacrifice, I will leave. If I have to work a longer shift because you didn't show up, I'm going to give myself grace to say thank you, but no thank you. And or I'm going to do it to you so you could see how that feels. Because taking me for granted is not the kind of game I want to play anymore. Because stress will cause you to use substances you have fought so hard to put down. So please, allow yourself to have the grace that you need to succeed in your change, in becoming a better person for you. And if you are not having the best day, it's okay. Because change ain't no joke, and it ain't always pretty. That's why people don't want to do it, because it's more comfortable to stay the same. So yeah, please don't think of yourself as any less than because you're trying to do something different and positive for you. It's not easy, especially at first. But it gets easier the more consistent you are with it and dropping all that stinking thinking and behavior that doesn't serve you. Yes, it does get easy. But sometimes it takes just as long for that change to occur, just as long as you stayed in there. Same way it says, getting over a relationship. People lie, okay? You've been with somebody 3 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You think you just gonna get over that person overnight? You think you just gonna stop having feelings for that person? You think you ain't gonna spend the block a time or two on that person, with that person? However that's done, believe me, yes, you are. And you've got to give yourself the forgiveness and grace when you do. If you've ever gotten into an accident, whether it was your fault or not, didn't your insurance company give you accident forgiveness? Same difference. If you've ever grown up and around toxicity and all you knew was toxic relationships, toxic people, toxic ways, it's not going to change overnight. You have to realize what it is, identify where it comes from, and pull that sucker up by the root. You have to change the soil in which the plant was in. Get new soil and new seed and start again. That kind of transformation takes time. So give yourself grace and be proud of yourself for wanting to change, wanting to heal, wanting better habits for yourself that accumulate a better life. So give yourself the grace that you deserve, the forgiveness that you deserve. Because so many times we're giving it to other people who don't deserve it, forgetting about ourselves in the process. It's like working a job for 8 days straight before you get an off day, and now one of those days, did you have a lunch break? Now, one of those days, did your direct supervisor say, hey, is there any way I can help you out? And here you are, back all hurting, popping Tylenols, and just tired. And sometimes you just got to tell them no. Let them know you're human and not a robot. And with that process of thinking, give yourself the grace to take a break when you need to. Give yourself a moment to rest in the newness of you. Give yourselves moments to grow in what you are becoming and what you are changing for the positive in your life. Give yourself time to grieve and process for the things that you're losing in your life, especially when it came to relationships that used to mean something to you, or you want it to work out, but you see a different level and you're on a different level and they're not growing with you. Give yourself time to grieve. So Long and short of it, give yourself grace. It's your girl.